so fresh, looking so fresh. When I walk by, breaking their necks. Waiting in line at the team store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
All right, welcome episode 631, Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here, September 5th, 2024. And man, that sucked. Just right off the bat, that freaking sucked. That ending. I mean, it felt pretty clear Robert Suarez didn't have it, and he was just missing, yanking some pitches down. And that Meadows at bat just kept, I mean, Mike Pomerantz did a great job with the pitch by pitch on the post game there, like right after. It was just 100-mile-per-hour fastball, pretty much in the same spot, same general area there, up and out, and you keep doing that. A major leaguer, essentially, Parker Meadows, I think that was his name, he's like, all right, this is what's coming. He knows you're telling him what is coming, essentially, because you're not changing the location, not changing, maybe throw a changeup here, throw one changeup instead of continuing to throw the fastball in that same spot, and got him. And then before that, obviously, with the hit that he gave up, a couple of walks, that sucks. And I mean, imagine if that was a postseason game. Holy cow. But it's not. And it feels like a lot of those were going to be happening last year. Like that's a 2023 loss where we're kind of stunned because we're not used to that happening this year. We're used to, even if he gives that up, they go win that game in the bottom of the inning, or they force it to extra innings and then they go win, like they did the other night. So, yeah, that sucked. I mean, because I didn't watch the entire game because I was working, but I come home, it's like, all right, yeah, we got a 3-0 lead here. Suarez comes in, or Adam pitched well. Tanner Scott, like they do their job, and then Suarez comes in. There's the great entrance, which is it's great, but man, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Suarez should not be the closer or I give up on him because he's still. I mean, his fastball's still over 100 miles per hour. The command has to be there, and if it's not, these guys see 100 miles per hour out of the bullpen. It's not like it's this something in 2011 or something where Aroldis Chapman's like the only guy doing it, where it's like, holy cow, look how fast this guy's throwing. It, especially when Suarez throws the fastball so much, it's not going to fool guys. So that's what we've got to hope for in the postseason is that his command is on. Because if it's not, then we might run into this situation. Now in the postseason, hopefully the Padres are in a situation where you'll have Jeremiah Estrada or someone behind Suarez in case he messes up, and Schilt will have a quicker hook. I mean, because tonight, it was pretty clear it didn't have it. I mean, after those back-to-back walks, I know it takes time for a reliever to warm up. In this case, it was Estrada that came into the game, but he gives up a hit, then the walk. Should a reliever be up at that point? Probably, especially when it's not like you have. Now, I'm not saying Alec Jacob isn't a good option to go to, but he isn't one of those high leverage guys right now, right? It's not like it's Wandy Peralta that you'd be warming up, or you'd only get to go to him. That's your only option. You had Estrada there. I believe Morejon would have been available today as well. So you could have gone to some guys that can pitch in those situations. And Schilt decided to stick with Suarez and ended up hurting the Padres. Yeah. They took 2 out of 3. So that's good, but I'm driving home and it's like, yeah, they're up 3-0. Great. You're facing the Tigers. Yeah, go win this game. Do what you need to do, right? The D-backs lost tonight. So at least that happened. We had that go for us, and Dodgers didn't play. But, man, that's just it's a gut punch a little bit. It's obviously not the end of the world. They're still in a good spot. But it's one of those like, dang, I wish we had that one back. I should have won that game, obviously. Now, there's been plenty of games where the Padres had no business winning, and they came back and won those this year. They have a ton of comeback wins. So I guess it's a little bit offsetting there. But yeah, it's obviously disappointing. There's plenty of positive takeaways, though, from this series. And I see those that are waiting here in the, what do I call it? The green room, whatever here on StreamYard. I'll come to you, but I just want to get to the 3 games in this series. I mean, we could start with the positives from tonight, and that was the bullpen other than Robert Suarez, who his ERA now raises to 2.54 after tonight. Martin Perez, his best outing of as a Padre, probably. I mean, it's not like he had 10 strikeouts, but he had 5, and he walked 1 guy, gave up no runs, and he got into the 7th inning. And it felt like, I wasn't watching this part, but it felt like it was kind of like Suarez, where the signs were there, like, yeah, let's go to another guy. And so that's why Martin Perez left that at that time in the game, thereafter getting 1 out in the 7th inning. And Schilt didn't do that when it came to Robert Suarez, when you had someone like Jeremiah Estrada after that could have come in. And I know, like, there's no off day in between the next series, and you're using Suarez. You probably want to use Estrada tomorrow if you're Schilt, right? You don't want to use your entire bullpen again tonight after you used it last night. But when you have, I mean, Schilt, we've seen it, right? Where Suarez pitches in those 4-run games this year, because it's like, yeah, you have an opportunity to win this game. So you go win this game. We'll worry about tomorrow. Let's go win this game. Let's take advantage that we have this lead. Who knows if we're even going to be in this situation tomorrow, right? Let's go do this. And he could have taken that approach tonight by going to someone else other than Suarez. And his explanation, I haven't heard it, but it'll probably be like, hey, we don't want to use everyone in the bullpen. We trust Robert Suarez. He's our closer for a reason, and we were gonna die with him, live or die with him tonight. And that's what happened. But yeah, Martin Perez seems like he pitched really well. I saw some of the pitching ninja stuff, nasty changeup that he had tonight. So I'm happy for him. And Darvish, this is the thing about baseball, right? Sometimes it's so wacky. Darvish doesn't pitch deep first outing back. I'm not saying he pitched bad, but didn't go deep as deep as I wanted him to. And the Padres come back. They're down 5-0. They win that game last night. Martin Perez pitches his butt off, 6 1/3, no runs. Best start in a Padre uniform, probably. And you get 1 out away from getting a 3-0 win, and boom, you lose that game. Like, the starter that should have won didn't win. The starter out of the 2 that, okay, yeah, probably should have lost that based on what the score was. You end up winning that game. It's crazy. But that's baseball. As Manny likes to say, that's baseball. I'm still happy, though, that they took 2 out of 3, right? You keep winning series, you're going to make the postseason. I already think they're going to make the postseason, but you're going to be in a good spot, and you're probably going to be the first wild card team if you keep taking care of business in the series, especially if you can do a really good job that last week of the season. Yesterday, game 2 of the series, obviously the Padres, they got the comeback win 6-5. Down 5-0, Yu Darvish came back, gave up the homer to Vealing. The location, that's really what got Darvish yesterday. Dylan Dingler. That was a name that Jesse liked to say on the radio broadcast a lot in this series. He grounded out, made it 2-0. Colt Keith then came through 3-0. I think that was on a hanging breaking ball. And then I don't think Darvish, was it Darvish that was in this game? No, that was Matsui that gave up the homer to Trey Sweeney. But yeah, 5-0 after 4 innings. And before getting to the rest, with Darvish, I was fine with his outing. Going back and looking at it, I'm like, I wasn't, pissed off about it. Like, oh no, this is bad. I just think some of it, some missed spots. He did talk about how, I'm not quoting him, but how he probably needed to relax a little bit going into this next outing that he has. He was amped up, and understandably so when he had been out for that long. I loved the Padres fan reception that Darvish got with all the you at the ballpark. So good job from Padres fans. Obviously, like all season long, you guys have showed up. Another packed crowd, right? I think it was over 40,000 tonight at that was not an ideal start time, by the way, for a Thursday night, 5:40. That's not ideal, but there were still a lot of fans there. So props to us, I guess, right? But yeah, Darvish, I mean, this is why I was fine with him coming back, to be honest. Like, okay, we have the offense that can come back. Let's get you as many starts as we can. Let's build you up. Let's get you back into these big league games. Get that confidence back because Darvish is a human being. As much as we think of like, oh, you Darvish the name, human beings, it's still obviously like Darvish talked about yesterday. There's still stuff going inside that head, inside the stomach there, right? So yeah, just get him back. And now if like a couple outings go by, a few outings after this, and he's not working deep, then yeah, we can be concerned about it. But I was just happy to see Darvish back on the mound, and the velocity was there. Really, for me, it was the mislocation. But Padres, obviously, they come back, bottom four, Jackson Merrill with a 3-run homer to make it 5-3. And that's like the perfect Jackson Merrill homer, right? How many times this year has he done? It seems like a lot that he has homered on a pitch that, that they think that they can get him on a fastball up and away. I think it was a fastball. And he just takes it yard oppo. And I love the skip that he has after he makes contact as he's going down the first baseline. Like, oh yeah, I got that one. But yeah, another rookie of the year moment for Jackson. Obviously, it was huge for the Padres to come back in this game. By the way, they went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. They left 13 guys on base and still won that game yesterday. Manny Machado with that RBI single, just not trying to do too much. I mean, literally the Padres approach, you go look at that swing for Manny, and that's what it is. Ball on the outside part of the plate, and somehow he takes it through the 5-5 hole. Padres tie it up, and then bottom 10 comes around, and Tatis with that the game-winning walk-off single, and they walked Luis Suarez again. They said, yeah, let's pitch to Fernando. I get it, like the right-on-right matchup, and, Merrill was talking about this as well post-game. I get it, but also it's like, hey, go ahead, good luck. You're facing Fernando. I understand, like, they were probably like, hey, if we can get a strikeout, it's going to be Fernando, not Arraez. Arraez isn't going to strike out here. It's a right-on-right matchup. Tatis at the second game back since coming off the IL. Arraez already has a walk-off hit earlier this year, and it was in a pretty darn big situation. His first game in San Diego against the Dodgers. Maybe let's not pitch to him, but it's also Fernando. They did it earlier this year. Fernando and Profar, those are two alike personalities where they see that 4 come up, and it's like, all right, yep, I'm clicking this into another gear, and I am here. You're not going to get by me. You wanted me? All right, you got me. And that's what happened. Obviously, the Gatorade celebration went viral. Tatis had his shirt off, and obviously a lot of people in the fan base love that. I keep going back to this is a real team. And it's refreshing because we obviously didn't have that last year. And last year was a long year. And this year, it feels like the year is going by much quicker. It's crazy how that happens, right? When they're winning games and they're a fun team to watch. It's crazy. But Tatis, he had never, and I didn't really think about this in the moment, but he had never had a walk-off hit before yesterday. But, look at how many games he has missed. And earlier in years, there probably wasn't a lot of walk-off situations for Fernando because the team wasn't winning a ton of games. And then, when they start to win games, 2021, there was the collapse. So it's not, that takes away walk-off opportunities later in the year. And then 2022, he doesn't play. 2023, I mean, not a whole lot there because we all know what happened in 2023. And he was also suspended for part of the year. And then this year, though, there's the opportunity. It seemed like he really let it all out. Like that was cool to see Fernando to have that moment. I know he let it all out with that homer that he hit against the Cubs earlier in the year with that comeback, but that was not to win the game. That was not after this long injury where he hadn't been playing, and just it seemed like the Padres just got to, Tatis felt like he was set free from that cage of not playing. So yeah, just overall, that was a fun game. And props to the freaking bullpen, huh? After Matsui, so Wandy, Morejon, Scott, Adams, Suarez, and Estrada all pitched an inning, didn't give up any runs. That's so big. And that's happened numerous times. Kevin Acee wrote about it in his newsletter this morning, I think, about some of the significant times, the games this season where the Padres have had so many relievers pitch, scoreless innings, and the Padres come back and win that game. If someone messes up there, out of those, 3, 4, 5, 6 names there, if someone messes up, we could be talking about a different thing here. So yeah, props to those guys. But that was a team win for sure. A fun one. One of the wins of the year. There's so many wins of the year. Padres won game 1 of the series, 3-0. Joe Musgrove, he is back. 6 innings, no runs, 8 punch outs, walked only 2, gave up just 3 hits. And those Joe Musgrove doubters, man, they are pretty quiet right now, huh? I know I'm biased because Musgrove's one of my guys. Like it's him, Crony, and it's Merrill. Those are my 3. But man, obviously I love Profar too, and there's a lot of guys I love on this team. But if I had to pick 3, it's those 3. I'm biased, but I didn't stop believing in Joe. Did I say not looking great? And is he hurt? Which he was. But Joe, he's just one of those guys. When he's in his prime like this, 2022 was not that long ago. And he had a long stretch last year where he pitched well before he got hurt, right? It took him some time, and he was battling through foot stuff there before he came back. Remember last year? This year, obviously, playing through it. Wasn't looking great. But he comes back from this injury. Still doesn't have... He doesn't view that Astros World Series as a real World Series to him. And it's totally different, obviously, when he's playing for San Diego, his team. So let's remember that. Those doubters, I feel like they forgot about that. It was real easy to pile on Joe when he was not looking great. And it's like, oh, man, that contract, he's washed, he's cooked. Cooked is the popular social media term for a guy, right? Easy to pile on. But for those that actually know what Joe's about and they see it and they see the competitor in him and they see his age, they saw that last start, I think, one of the last starts before he went on the IL. It looked like he was actually, progressing. I think the real ones, you didn't give up on Joe. You just weren't going to do that. Again, I sat here and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look great. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're not going to count on Joe Musgrove. He's not going to turn it around. That just wasn't going to come out of my mouth. So I'm glad that he's back. And in a postseason, I want him pitching in game 3 of the wild card series. If it's 1-1 and, your season's on the line, I am totally fine with throwing Joe out there. He's the competitor. I want that guy in that game. Just like in game 3 against the Mets. I want that guy on the mound. Cease may be, electric with the arm and the strikeouts, but if there's someone that I'm picking, it's Joe. I want that dog on the mound, that competitor. So good for him. 6 innings, no runs in game 1. And then Adam Scott Suarez, ASS. 3 shutout innings from those guys combined. Suarez's ERA after Monday's game, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. Because there was the off day Tuesday. 1.96, and his ERA after today, by the way, 2.54. So yeah, not great. Not great when you're a reliever and you give up 4 earned runs like that. But the good thing is they still won the series. It's 1 of 162. They're in a good spot. If they were in the Mets situation, oh boy, would this be terrible. Because the Mets, they're right there. Or you could say the Braves too, right? I think they're like a half game within each other. They're right there neck and neck. The Padres, though, and I'm not saying the Padres are 15 games up because they're not, but there's a little bit more of a cushion. And I feel like this is more of a one-off than, oh boy, big worry here. But as for the scoring in Game 1, Luis Suarez with that RBI single made it 1-0. He came through a couple of times. One was down and in, and the other was up and away. And it does not matter if it's a strike or not. If it's near the zone, Luis is going to hack. He's not walking much, but he puts the ball in play, and good things happen when you put the ball in play. And it did for Luis there. Manny with a single made it 3-0 there early, and then, that was late. Sorry. Bottom 8. Arise and Manny coming through there. That game felt more than a 1-0 lead. With the way that Joe was pitching and then the bullpen, it felt better than a 1-0 lead. There was another game, I think it was the last homestand, where it felt like the Padres, they came back. I think that was the Merrill walk-off game against the Mets. It didn't feel like the Padres were down by that much. Like, they were in it. And they came back and won the game. This one, on Monday, it felt better than that because of how things were going. So I was confident all the way that the Padres are going to take that one. And so, yeah, encouraging things from this series. Elias Diaz, I should mention, his double today. That was a cool moment with the celebration on second base. But no, encouraging things. Manny continues to go. Merrill, Musgrove, just the return of Darvish. That's obviously encouraging. Luis Suarez, Fernando's, him being back. There was this question that I think I saw on social media or in the YouTube comments, who's more important, Darvish's return or Tatis's return? And if you ask Padres players, they're not going to give you one or the other, probably. They're just going to say both because of how great of teammates they are. If I had to pick one, I don't want to make it sound like, here's the problem. I don't want to make it sound like Tatis isn't important because he is. For anyone that was saying, oh, no, we're good without Tatis, I mean, what are you talking about? I'm sorry. Come on, man. You're going to try to make that argument? Stop. But for the postseason, starting pitching is so huge. And so if you could get back Darvish, pitching well, David Peralta was hitting over 300 with the Padres, right? In a stretch when Tatis was out. He was still doing good. You have Merrill and Profar in that outfield. You have Manny. You have Crony. You have Bogey. I don't want to miss someone. You have Arise. You have talent in that lineup. Pitching is so important come postseason time. So I would probably slightly go with Darvish if I had to. But, I mean, both are obviously huge parts of the Padres team. This is not a 5-starter that the Padres are adding. This is not, he plays the outfield every so often. No, this is one of the best players in the league when he is on in Fernando. And Darvish could be a difference maker come postseason time. We saw it in 2022, and I know that was a couple of years ago, but it's still Darvish. So these are still 2 big additions for this team. And it was just great to see them back on the field. It's 3 games, 1 start, and he was on a pitch limit, obviously, with Darvish. So nothing for me to overreact to. It was just good to see them on the field. And obviously Nando with the walk-off. It was great for him to have that moment, to just be back. And it's okay, exhale. I am back now, And it seemed like he was getting around pretty darn good around those bases. I know that, Fernando for Fernando, like the standards we have or what we usually look at him when he's running down the line, running around the bases, I think you see that angle from the other night. It's like there's a little something. You can tell he's not 100%, but he's still faster than a ton of guys. Him not 100% like that is still faster than a lot of the league. And so it seems like he's moving fine. I don't think we should expect him to look amazing when he's running because of what he's been through, what he's dealing with. He's not going to be 100%. But like we say about some players in this league, him at 80%, 90% is better than someone else's 100%. And that's just what it is. And David Peralta, to have him to be able to come off the bench, that is a luxury to have. All right. These guys have been waiting here in the room here, so I appreciate it.
Hello? Hi. Thanks for having me on your show. Hey guys, like even though we lost the series, even though we won the series, hey, you gotta admit that Fernando Tatis moment where he walked up was the best part of the series.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And yeah, so I want to ask you too because I was on the Padres wrap up show Discord. So which side? I know everyone's either I'm happy we won the series, but what side are you on? You're on the side that we should be grateful we won the series, or we should have swept this series. What side are you on?
Oh, no. We should have definitely swept the series, but I think two things can be true at the same time. We can say they should have swept the series, obviously let it get away there, but they're still taking care of business. In the postseason, right? Let's go to the postseason. I know they're playing the Tigers and it's not the postseason, but in the postseason, what matters? Is it you sweep a team or you win the series? What matters is you win the series. And so the Padres keep building this winning series habit. They're going to be in a good spot. So that's how I see it. Yeah, it sucks, when you're 1 out away from a series sweep, but it wasn't against a divisional opponent. D-backs lost today. It's not the worst thing in the world. And again, the Padres, they're still in a fine spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember one person in the Discord said, what do you prefer, winning a series or losing a series? That's what really got me. That's what it was. I was thinking about what he said in the Discord. I'm yeah, I'm taking winning the series, instead of losing a series. You feel me?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's what matters. When teams, and I know this was a 3-game series in the regular season, but going back to the postseason thing, do fans remember 20 years from whenever their team won the World Series? Oh man, but we didn't sweep though. No, you won the. Who cares? If you win the series, that's what matters. So again, I know it's not the postseason. You want to sweep, but I'm gonna keep taking every series win that they get, and it's not like they're chasing a postseason spot right now. They're in a postseason spot, so just keep winning, and those teams will not be able to catch you.
Right on. I feel really bad for Robert Suarez, for having a bad game, I feel for him, I hope he bounces back next time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I believe he pitched 4 times in the last 5 days. So maybe it was a little bit overusage, fatigue. Even if it wasn't, he just didn't have it with the command. So Schilt probably should have went to Estrada after that second walk. But he's someone that's always going to go with this guy. Unless, hopefully he changes in the postseason. If Suarez doesn't have it, then go to someone else in the postseason. But in the regular season, he's probably going to stick with his closer. And that's obviously what happened here today.
Mm-hmm. Ride and die, ride and die with them.
Yep. Especially when they're in a spot that they're in right now.
I am too. Thanks for having me on. It was fun talking to you. I'm a huge fan of your show. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one. All right, let's go to Stat Nerd Baseball. Oh, there he is. Hold on one second. There you go. What's up, man? How's it going?
Doing? I'm
doing
good. I'm good. Was I only able to catch the end of the game because life is busy and stuff, working on content. The grind never stops. But I think it was a good series overall. Thanks for posting the Suarez intro. Every time you post it goes even harder. I think this time they finally got the cinematography, peak cinematography. So very glad that they show that. I just wanted to ask a quick question, and of course, leave you all with immaculate grid picks for Padres and Tigers because we just play the Tigers. So just two questions about the series. First off, what did you think about the bullpen yesterday? Because I think that without the bullpen's efforts yesterday, there's no way we win that game. And like, it felt like 2020, like the pandemic playoffs, when your bullpen's throwing 2/3 of your innings.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Kind of like that. Yeah, that game 3 wild card in 2020. Yeah, that bull. Like, if I'm going to criticize Schilt for maybe leaving Suarez in too long tonight, gotta praise for what happened yesterday. I mean, pushing all the right buttons. Him and Niebla or whoever, helped with that decision making pregame with numbers and matchups. Holy cow. I mean, they played that pretty perfectly. 2 hits combined with those 6 relievers other than Matsui. Incredible what happened there. And obviously, like I said earlier, if something went wrong there, then the Padres wouldn't have been in that situation that they were in. It took a lot of different things. It was a team win yesterday. Merrill and Manny coming through, Tatis obviously, other guys, moving runners, the bullpen. I mean, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, this is a fully congealed team. Like there's no I in this team. There's only a we, which is a massive change from last year. I was listening to Ben this morning, and they were talking about that too.
Yeah, there's no I in team, but there is an I in win, and like that's what they care about most is win. And when you do that, you're a team. So yeah, for sure.
See, that was really good. I saw someone in the comments was like, "Oh yeah, what if you had Soto? Soto would have tried to work to walk in the 9th inning." So, whatever your point was, I don't think it was made person in the comments. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and the Yankees, did they play today?
No, they were off, but yesterday was pretty bad.
So they're 80 and 60. The Padres are 80 and 62. They have Juan Soto, and we don't, and we have the same amount of wins as they do. So
yeah,
that's pretty nuts. Going into the season, we said that's baseball, and that's a great job out of AJ Preller.
Yeah, and I see this in the comments. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not trying to knock on Soto. I'm just saying from what Padres fans saw all of last year, that's just what the situation kind of dictated.
And anyways, he was Padres. He was their best offensive player last year. Yeah, I'm not like saying Soto, we don't need him, but I'm just saying the pieces that we got back with Michael King and Higgy. I mean, it's been Drew Thorpe obviously helping us get Dylan Cease. It's some good starts from Randy Vasquez, some good outings from Brito this year. And who knows what their future holds with the Padres. That is really working out, and the money that they got, clear off the books with Soto there, and who they else signed in place of that, it hasn't gone. It couldn't have gone any better so far, really.
Yeah, it's been pretty well allocated. I remember calling your show in when the Dylan Cease thing went down. That was the first time I ever came on your show. So, yeah, that's definitely been a good thing. And before I go, because I'm kind of on a time crunch, I'll leave you with a few names for Padres Tigers for those of you who are curious. I've wrote a few down because some of these are in a video I did recently. Andujar Cedeno, former shortstop. We've got John Flaherty, former, I think he was a catcher. And for some of our younger fans like myself, I mean, I'm 22, so I'm pretty young, but Kevin Jarvis and Trey Wingeter.
Trey Wingeter, yeah.
I thought he was going to be really good.
I mean, there were some good moments there. Yeah.
Tommy John is a pain.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right. Jackson Merrill, by the way, he took home the Padres Heart and Hustle Award. I believe every team gets one, and then there's a winner in all of the league. With Jackson Merrill, there's no other choice on this Padres team, right? I think Ha-Seong Kim won it either last year or the year before that. That was pretty obvious with how much he hustles. But this year, sure, you could give like the heart to someone like Jurickson Profar. I mean, he definitely has it. There's some other candidates, but there's nobody that I think of Heart and Hustle Award, and I'm like, yep, that guy. There's nobody else. I immediately go to Jackson Merrill. So this was obviously the right pick. It was probably unanimous, however the voting works there. I don't know if it's the players voting or what, but clearly it's Jackson Merrill. And yeah, he's quickly developed into a fan favorite. And there's a reason why. It's not just because he's a good baseball player. If he sucked, though, obviously wouldn't be this great. But it's because of the effort. It's because of the team first mentality. If he was not having a rookie of the year season and it was a season maybe that most expected, like let's say he didn't have 22 homers, maybe he had 10 to 12 right now, right? Like lower numbers than what he has right now. And he was playing fine, but he wasn't making like diving catches in center, but he still had this team first mentality like this. He'd still be loved, I think, by the Padres fans. And we'd be like, he's going to progress. This is going to be good. We're seeing good signs. Obviously, with what he's doing on the field, it's like it's on another level. But I mean, since spring training, he has said all the right things. Has he said one bad thing this year where we're like, oh yeah, probably shouldn't have said that? He's confident, but I don't think he's overboard. He is team first. The other day, he was asked about the, I think, RBI record because with that homer the other night, he broke the rookie RBI record in Padres franchise history. I think he beat Benito. And that obviously hadn't been done in a while. And he was asked about it, and he was like, shoot, I hope that someone else breaks it next year because we need help up here. And he pointed to Leo DeVry and Ethan Salas, some of the top guys in the Padres farm system. And it's like, where he had an opportunity to talk about how cool it was for him, he decided to turn that into, no, hopefully that gets broken by some other guys. And I think he was asked another question that was sort of about him, but then he made it into Jeremiah Estrada, and a great job by the bullpen last night. So he literally says everything correct. All he cares about is winning. Seems like he loves San Diego. The other day, he was out in the community helping out, I think, with the Monarch School, going shopping with kids. So literally, there's not a bad thing about Jackson Merrill. Find a bad thing about Jackson Merrill as him in 2024 as a San Diego Padre. So heart, oh yeah, he has it. Hustle, yes, he has it. He's been doing that pretty much all season long. Balls that are nubbers, he doesn't hit it hard. He's sprinting down the line. I'm going to make you throw me out. I'm not just going to give you the out. I'm going to make you throw me out. Diving catches in the gap. That game-winning catch that he had earlier in the year. I mean, this season highlight reel that I'm going to put together at the end of the year, holy cow, there's going to be a lot of Jackson Merrill good plays. So, Heart and Hustle Award for the Padres, well-deserved. He is the only correct choice for this season, no doubt. I'll give love to Profar, but no doubt it's Merrill. All right, let's do a quick break, and then I will get to the chat. Check out Gaglione Bros' famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries on Friars Road. You can visit their website, gaglionebros.com, for their entire menu and enjoy their cheesesteaks and fries at Petco Park and Snapdragon Stadium as well. All right, so some of the other great partners of the show, before getting to the chat, just wanted to remind you, Breaking Tea, Padres, Aztec shirts and sweatshirts. They just had the Labor Day sale, 15% off. I believe that's over now, but still some great stuff. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of that. If not, you can still go check out their website. They've got some great Merrill shirts. They've got Profar, Manny, Tatis. They got a lot of great stuff there. Darvish, the I Love You shirt. I think that's pretty popular amongst Padres fans. So go check them out. Click the link in the description there. And then Underdog. They've got a lot of promos going this week, obviously, with the first week of the NFL season happening. I believe first game's happening now. I don't get locked into the NFL, so sorry if I don't know exactly what's happening. I think the season started today. But Underdog, they have a bunch of specials. It's daily. And I'm pulling it up right now to go through them here. Here it is. So I think for today's game, they had the free Kelsey pick. And then today is what? Wednesday. So tomorrow, no. Today's Thursday. Sorry. I'm totally losing track of days here. Friday, tomorrow, Packers Eagles. There's going to be a special promo to be revealed soon. And then Saturday for college football week 2, discount the dogs. 4 college football discounts that you can pair. So it's pick'ems. So you use the discount there. That's 1 pick. You got to pick at least 2 to win. And you could go with a Padres pick, someone there when they face the Giants coming up this weekend, which is, I believe, it's the last matchup between the 2 teams at Petco. They go to Oracle Park later in the year. And then Sunday is a Dak Prescott free pick. You could pick that and then pick another Padre pick. Or you could go another NFL pick, another college football pick, WNBA. I've been pretty locked into that this year. That's been super fun to watch. They've got, the rest of MLB, obviously. They've soccer, I believe. They've got a lot of great stuff. So check that out with Underdog. And then SeatGeek, code Talking Friars. Click that link in the description for SeatGeek. $20 off your first order there. All right. Let's go to the chat. I apologize for not getting to it a little bit earlier, but there's hundreds of comments here. I'll go through them. Probably won't get through all of them, but I've gotten through all the topics that I wanted to get to here on the show. So let's get to the chat. Can anyone explain how the Padres couldn't sweep the Tigers? Robert Suarez didn't throw strikes. Or when he did, it was just repeatable. It was predictable. That's why. Yeah. How about Martin? Iron Swan says, how about Martin Perez tonight? Terrific. Yeah. He was really good. Not so sure he would be on a postseason roster. If he would, it would be as a long man. But this bullpen's pretty stacked. And if King doesn't start in the wildcard series, then he takes up a bullpen spot. Michelle says Suarez needs to take a seat and let Scott or Adam have that entrance. He's been shaky for a while now. He's going to, hopefully he has a couple of days off. I don't think they need him to be pitching in multiple games of that Giant series. Yeah, give him some time. But I'm not like, Suarez, boot him from the closer role. That's not where I'm at with that. Jason Adam, though, man, he has been nasty. But yeah, 4 of the last 5 days, I believe, is what he's been pitching. Or what he has pitched. So, yeah, he's going to be probably not as strong as he was on night 1. And Michelle, this is sort of fair about the one-trick pony thing. How Suarez is a one-trick pony. But he's still been really good this year as being a one-trick pony, if we're going to say he's a one-trick pony with the fastball. So I would say is let's get him some rest. And, when he's commanding his pitches, still guys aren't going to be hitting him. So I'm not super worried about that, to be honest. If by the way, I'm seeing people want Tanner Scott as the closer. If Scott and Suarez kind of trade off, they switch off, they rotate into that closer role. I would be fine with that, to be honest, for the rest of the year, because the Padres are in a good spot. And when the postseason comes around, I don't even know if they need to have a full-time closer, to know, all right, that guy's the 9th inning. Because let's think about it. In the postseason, you probably want to go on matchups anyway, right? Sometimes the biggest situation is the 8th inning, not the 9th inning anyway. Or it's the 7th inning, right? So I don't think that they're going to go away from Suarez with the closer role, but I'd be fine with it. I'm okay with it. I have confidence in Scott. I have confidence in Adam. I have confidence in Suarez still. And Suarez is a team player too, so it's not like this Josh Hader thing where we have to worry about his ego or, only 9th inning, 1 inning only. We don't have to worry about that with this team and this bullpen. So that's another positive sign here. or positive characteristic about this team? Well, Tyler says Suarez should have tried challenging them with a pitch down the middle before he walked two to load the bases. That's fair. But do you think that Suarez wasn't trying to throw a strike? You know, I mean, his command was just not good today. So this happens. It does happen where probably pitchers try to just throw it down the middle and see what happens because they can't hit their spots, and they still don't do it because you're just off that night. Maybe it's in his head. So the command was just bad. It was off. I'm seeing some people say like it feels like a series loss after this. I mean, I disagree because the Tatis moment felt like it was a sweep almost, and then tonight happened. So no, to me, it still feels like 2 out of 3. And because it is 2 out of 3, I don't even care how it feels. What is it? It's 2 out of 3. So whatever. Suarez's confidence will be tested. It's been tested before though, and look how he's come back from it. Yeah, that's true. SD Fan 44 brings up Elias Diaz's double, couldn't bring him in. Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh man, the offense. They had a 3-0 lead with 2 outs in that game. I'm sorry. That's not the offense's fault. You got to win that game. The Tigers, they've hit like what, 6 grand slams? Didn't Don say that on the broadcast? They've hit like 6 grannies this year. Michael says D-backs are going to blow it. Their schedule gets tough. Does it? I'm going to look that up right now. Actually, before I do that, just quick layout of this series against the Giants. Friday, 6:40. It'll be Michael King on the mound for the Padres. That's an Apple TV Plus game tomorrow. So have fun for those that have to watch that on Apple TV Plus. Saturday, September 7th. That's at 5:40. Wow, what a matchup. Logan Webb against Dylan Cease. Get your popcorn for that. And then Sunday at 1:10, Joe Musgrove scheduled to get the start. So I think they've got a good chance to win this series with those guys that are going. And the schedule for the D-backs, let's see. So they've got the Astros, Rangers, Brewers, Rockies, Brewers, Giants, and then Padres to end the season. It's not the toughest schedule. I mean, we'll see what the Giants are even, what team are they putting out there from the 23rd to the 26th. But those teams like the Rockies, I mean, those could actually be dangerous because they're not playing for anything. They have nothing to lose. Or guys are battling their tails off to try to go make, leave a good impression going into the offseason. But, yeah, their toughest matchup is the Brewers and the Padres over the rest of this season here. It's not the easiest schedule, but it's not the toughest though. All right, let's see. Still going through the chat here. Yeah, Suarez Taylor says Suarez should have been pulled after loading the bases. How many pitches had Estrada thrown in the bullpen, though? Like, that's kind of what I wonder. Because they don't want to throw Estrada out there when he's not warm. And Schilt just trusts his guys. That's just who he is. And sometimes it's to a fault. Michael asks, oh, he's a Mets fan. He asks, how do you guys feel with Lindor's chances of winning MVP? Not good. He's not winning MVP. I kind of compare it to Manny's case, right? Like, Manny was huge in the Padres making the postseason. And Lindor's going to be huge for the Mets if they make the postseason. But you're not beating Ohtani, who's probably going to go 50-50. What is he at right now? $44-46. Yeah, you're not going to beat Ohtani. Because, I mean, he could have the argument like, well, where would the Dodgers be without me? Maybe in the playoffs, but not where they're at right now. And he's doing this as he's stealing that many bases as a DH. The Dodgers have dealt with a lot of injuries. So Ohtani can still have his case for being valuable to the Dodgers. While Lindor's is more like, man, they literally need Lindor with what he's doing and where the Mets are at. But I think Lindor is going to be this year's 2022 Machado and just not win. It's crazy how we still have Dodger fans in this chat. When the Padres didn't play the Dodgers, it was Padres-Tigers. Oh, but it's not a rivalry, huh? All right, that's going to do it. Talking Friars, episode 631. Thanks, everyone, for the time. I appreciate it. Padres, they take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. It was good to see the returns of Darvish and Tatis. And I like the Padres' chances going into this Giants series with the arms that they have lined up for these 3 games. Friday, Saturday, Sunday should be, I mean, this weekend is going to be hopefully, going to be a heck of a San Diego sports weekend. We got Padres Giants, Saturday night, Oregon State at Snapdragon to face San Diego State. And then Padres Giants series finale Sunday. And then Alex Morgan. By the way, go to the San Diego Waves website, go get tickets, pack Snapdragon, Alex Morgan's final match. She is retiring after Sunday's match. That was the big news of the day today. Great career. So happy that, San Diego is her home. So grateful for what she's done for the city of San Diego and what she will continue to do, because she is not done. This is just the start for her. I know that. And so, yeah, go. If you don't want to miss Alex Morgan, you want one more chance to see Alex Morgan play, Sunday is your chance. The Wave against the Courage. The Wave are fighting to get back into postseason positioning. That's going to be at 5 o'clock at Snapdragon. Hopefully, it's going to be a sellout and a great environment to send Alex off with the great send-off that she so deserves. All right, see everybody.